What's not as bad as everyone says? Your 30s. I mean, it finally feels like I have most of my shit together. Old enough to do the adult things, but young enough to still act like a 20-something from time to time. Eating alone at a restaurant. IKEA instructions. Everyone says they are too hard to follow. Seriously? IKEA specifically designs their instructions to be as simple as possible. They never use any words in them, instead having very clear and large images and icons, so that anyone, regardless of language, can understand them and clearly label all the parts you need at every step. They literally cannot dumb it down any further. How is this too hard for you? Young people. I'm almost 60 and the kids just seem to get nicer and nicer. My generation were horrible in comparison. 50 to 60 might be a sweet spot for friendships or getting on with younger people. You are old enough to command respect, but still young enough to have a laugh. My dad was 60 when he died, and he was always a great laugh and chatty with all my friends in their late teens and early 20s. He'd pick us up from a nightclub. If we needed a drive home, he'd allow my friends to smoke in his car. 16 plus ages. He'd drive us around and take us on days out. To younger children, he was like a grandpa, but young enough to look after them. One 4-year-old girl in our neighborhood loved him so much, she would scream his name every time they walked past our flat, and if he didn't go out to the balcony and wave at her, she'd refuse to walk on. It was full-on tantrums. He had promised her to take her to an ice cream parlor, but he died before he could fulfill his promise, and even at her young age, she understood that he was gone for good. Really heartbreaking. Edit. Just want to say thanks to everyone who shared their own story of their dad, and for saying mine sounds like a great dad. He really was full of love and life, even after surviving cancer twice, and always wanted to make fun memories. He always reminded me to enjoy life, regardless of how little money I have, or what outside forces try to stress me. One of my fav memories of him is when he took me, my siblings and 13 other neighborhood kids to McDonald's. He had a big, loud, white van, and it must have looked so odd to someone who saw this big dark man putting kids aged 8 to 14 into a van and driving off. The parents gave permission OFC and the neighborhood was quiet for an afternoon while we were away. Getting older, you gain a lot of perspective, and you worry a lot less. I've noticed I don't gain as much wisdom as I expected, but far more weight than I anticipated. Going out by yourself. I actually enjoy shopping by myself. I throw on some headphones, crank up the jams, and go about my business. That or going to coffee shops by yourself, just to sit in some solitude. People think I'm crazy when I say I prefer going to the mall alone, but it drives me batshit crazy when I'm shopping with someone else and they tell me to hurry up or try to drag me into stores that I don't like. When I shop alone, I can take as long as I want and go wherever I want. Marriage. I heard so many older relatives and coworkers say don't get married. Turns out they are all just terrible people who picked bad partners and or are bad partners. When you choose right, it seriously rocks. Also, if you choose right, very little should actually change after the wedding. So many people kept asking, so how's married life? Every time the answer was, more laundry. I don't know what answer people expect. Am I supposed to break down crying because I hate him? Menopause. It's a little scary and messes with your identity, but it can also be a relief. No more inconvenient or painful periods, no more birth control, no more worries about late in life pregnancy, and society rewards your goofy jokes and weird behavior. Everyone loves a funny grandma. Vegetables. I don't get why people don't like them. I think they are delicious. I think future generations are going to have a better relationship with vegetables now that current generations are learning there are more and better ways to prepare them than boiled or steamed. Being honest about how you feel and confessing it to someone. Just tell them you're mad, happy, upset, horny, whatever. Just be candid. I'm doing this with my boyfriend and it's sometimes pretty hilarious. Out of nowhere I would say, I got so horny when you did that, and it would be funny. Or I would say, I'm upset I didn't see you this week. Can we change that? And he would gladly come over in an instant. It was just a busy week. I often overthink so much. My advice, don't. If you got a good guy, it's gonna be alright. Growing up, I just gave my first completely honest job interview yesterday because they contacted me based on my previous work with the company, so I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was upfront about flex time, my career goals, and getting paid what I'm worth because I'm older and more confident than ever before. I also own a house, have a husband who can essentially read my mind, and have a circle of friends who I know will last through anything because they've grown alongside me. I really can't oversell how cool it is to finally have confidence in my abilities and qualities as a person. That can only really come with age and experience. How amazing is it to have a job interview where you don't have to lie once, never have to exaggerate, can ask for the things you want. My last job interview I did this because I was sure I wouldn't get it anyway, so I should just treat it as a learning experience / practice. Went in super chill, leaning back in the chair, just chatting away. I'm usually quite introverted / anxious, so this was unusual for an interview. They gave me the bloody job. Plus it's really relaxing knowing that they are not expecting anything other than what you honestly told them when you actually go to work there. Public transit. I use LA Metro for a 2-hour, one-way commute each day, and have coworkers who drive out from the same area I live in. They refuse to take the metro out of fear of it being dangerous, dirty, unreliable, and expensive. Their commute is the same amount of time as mine due to LA traffic. I pay $1.75 per commute, $3.50 a day. They burn more gas than that a day just going to work, put wear and tear on their cars, stress themselves out because of traffic, and can't relax while driving. Meanwhile, I'm on the metro typing this post out and reading the news. Math. Way too many people are proud of disliking it and being bad at it, but it can be beautiful, and it is so satisfying to solve a problem after being stuck on it for a while. I'm not proud. Math beyond everyday uses for me blows my mind. I have struggled with it throughout school my entire life. I'm horrible at it. I fail to grasp its application. I want to understand and be proficient, but it seems like, no matter how much I try, I end up right back where I started. Being ugly. You would be surprised at the benefits. I'm always getting free Macube samples at the mall. My parents never made me stand in any of our family photos. Dogs are super friendly towards me, especially boxers, because they think I'm one of them. The best part of being ugly, however, is the way guys react towards me. Meatless meals. Tons of people act like the veggie option is always bad. I'm not vegetarian or anything, but pasta without meat sauce or a tofu stir fry is fine. My hot take, most people can't cook / season well enough to make veggies seem delicious or like a main dish. They lean heavily on meat to pick up the interest or flavor. Donating blood. There's not too many people that say it's really bad, but seriously, it's nothing. It's been tried and tested literally millions of times to make it as painless and easy as possible. Domestic rats. They are so fluffy and will sit there licking your fingers if you raise them right. Used to have one named Athena that would try and hide in my arms anytime someone tried to pet her. She sadly died giving birth. I had saved her from being my older brother Snake's food. I will never forget that little Dumbo rat sleeping on my shoulder as we were watching National Geographic's giant squid documentary. Working out. Everyone seems to treat it like some chore instead of a hobby, but working out changed my life for the better. You feel great, more energy, better sleep, and the confidence boost you get from achieving goals pumps me up. Girls even notice how confident I became, and it helps with getting more dates. High school / college will be the best years of your life. No. Life is infinitely better after school. I've been working full time for about 7 years now. You know what's wonderful about it? I don't have homework or papers or a test to study for every night. I can sit down, watch Netflix, play a game and not caring about what I have to do tomorrow until tomorrow. Exercise. If you despise it, you're probably not choosing a type that's a good match for you. Not everyone has to do boot camp or power lift. Do some yoga or take a 20-minute walk. Walking costs nothing, requires little to no skill/coordination, can be done anywhere, and can be taken at your own pace. Tons of physical and mental benefits just from a simple walk. Edit. Wow, I never imagined this comment would gain so much traction. I'm loving all of the success stories from people who have formed a positive relationship with exercise. For the few who have opted to claim that walking is not exercise, please do some research before you argue with science. Do a Google Scholar search for walking benefits and you will see hundreds of medical studies listing the benefits that can come from as little as 5 miles/week at a 2 miles per hour pace. These include lower risk of premature death, improved cardiac risk factors such as cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, vascular stiffness and inflammation, and mental stress. In addition, walking offers protective benefits against other chronic disease. Walking is considered a moderate physical activity. There is a linear relationship between workout intensity and health outcomes, so higher intensity activities do offer greater protection against disease. However, walking is a wonderful beneficial option for those who enjoy it or do not wish to engage in a more strenuous form of exercise. Car fire. Cars aren't giant bombs just waiting to explode, like Hollywood or GTA would have you believe. You've got a solid 5 to 10 minutes to get out before the fire moves from the engine bay to the passenger compartment. The hardest part is getting over the initial panic of fire, which is very likely to cause you to shut down in fear instead of getting out of the car, because fight or flight doesn't really apply to how to open car doors.